Thank you so much for being here today. We're really excited about the NWS process in this particular position that was authorized towards the end of last year. For those that hopefully you've had a chance to dig into the decision that set up this new NWS process, which we're hoping to really start in earnest in 2025. You'll see that it's fairly unique, but we think really offers a great opportunity for the EDCs and for third parties to come to the table with creative solutions to make sure that we have the most cost-effective solutions out there and are deploying them in the state of Connecticut. You'll see is in a second, my colleague Julia Dumaine will walk you through the RFP, but you'll see as she walks you through it that there's really two unique parts to what we're asking the process monitor to do. In the next year and a half, 2 years, really we're asking the process monitor to help finalize some of the last pieces of the process that are going to be crucial to making sure it's successful when it starts up in 2024. So lots of stakeholder engagement, lots of technical activity to fine tune the last pieces. And then the second part will be to help us through and to support PURA through the first year of the program at a minimum as we really undertake the process. So like I said, incredibly excited to see this kick off and are grateful to all of you for being here today. With that, I'll turn it over to Julia.
Great, thank you, Director Ryer. My name is Julia Dumaine. I'm the Supervisor of Strategy and Operations for PURA. I will walk through the proposal, the RFP rather, this morning, and then we will accept questions about the specifics of the proposal process and what we're looking for. So, and again, we'll be recording this, so this will be posted on the RFP webpage, which is accessible through PURA's homepage. So let me. So I'm not going to be going over in detail the NWS process that is clearly outlined in the decision and other documents, but just as some background, the non-wire solutions process was part of PURA's overall grid modernization framework to create a transparent and competitive process for comparing potential non-wire solutions against any traditional or conventional distribution system upgrades. It also makes sure that necessary improvements to the distribution system look at energy conservation, efficiency, and the public interest, and of course are prudent. And then it allows the EDCs, the electric distribution companies of Connecticut, Eversource, and UI, to evaluate the cost effectiveness of any EDC-owned energy storage investments over conventional upgrades to the distribution system. So this is a high-level overview, more details again in the decision. As Josh outlined, our primary focus for this RFP is retaining a consultant to provide administrative and support services for preparing for the 2025 launch of the NWS process. This will include advisement for PURA staff and particularly development of key process materials. I think you can really group these needs into two buckets. General responsibilities. We have stakeholder meetings that will need to be facilitated, review of regular compliance filings from the EDCs, oversight of the solicitation process, and providing comments on any of the solicitations going forward, as well as the evaluation, measurement, and verification filings. For process development, in order to effectively administer this program, of course, we need to develop annual filings, well, specifically the requirements that we will need from the utilities on the grid needs filing requirements, a benefit cost analysis process, a detailed timeline for the processes, and other items like this, marketing, engagement, et cetera. So that's really the groupings of the two of the responsibilities and scope of work for our proposals that we're looking for. We are seeking consultants with qualifications in the following 4 areas, specifically program administration experience. Any experience you can demonstrate with administering similar or related programs will be very helpful, including data tracking, EM&V, experience working with utilities, particularly with understanding distribution system engineering, the electric distribution system companies' business models and operations and how those work, and then familiarity with different technologies and programs, and including energy efficiency and distributed energy resources, and particularly any trends or details related to Connecticut. We will need to have a consultant with financial experience and expertise. So that sort of speaks for itself, but being able to identify equitable solutions and being able to understand the financial investment distinctions between different proposals in the process. And then, of course, advanced technology expertise. We're hoping that our consultant would have experience and knowledge of distribution engineering, cybersecurity, and innovative technologies that might be able to substitute traditional distribution system upgrades. So this docket schedule is really going to occur over the next 2 years. As we had previously stated a couple of times, we do not anticipate the actual NWS process to officially launch until 2025. So really over the next year and a half, our goal in working with a consultant is to coordinate a work plan, establish a monthly stakeholder meeting schedule, and then also begin all of the pre-process preparation efforts. So different documents, the cost benefit analysis, things like that I had mentioned on the previous slide. But all of those requirements are detailed in section 2A2 of our process design document. So those further details are available there. The beginning of 2025 is when we will start seeing the EDC's compliance filings that will require review and assessment. And then by Q3 of 2025, we will start the screening decision that is going to launch the official solicitation process. And then by the end of 2025 is when we will need to start reviewing the proposals submitted and any recommendations or oversight from the consultant. So we will accept questions on this process if necessary. I also want to just point to our RFP that we really tried to organize it in a way that made it clear what we were looking for. And we really ask that you provide your proposal in the sequence given by the table in section 3 of the RFP. This will allow us to more easily review the proposals across different consulting agencies and make sure that we are doing it as efficiently as possible so that we can select and contract with a consultant as quickly as possible and complete the review process. And this also goes for our cost estimates. We have provided a standardized template in section 3E of the RFP. And we ask that you provide your cost estimates using that template so that we can, again, efficiently compare costs across proposals. So for the RFP schedule, next steps, today is the final day to submit a notice of intent to bid. This is not required, but very strongly encouraged as it helps us plan for proposal reviews. If you have any questions about the RFP, you can submit them as well as your notice of intent to pura.rfp@ct.gov. The due date for questions is next Friday. We will provide responses to questions by the January 27th. We will provide those both as a document, an anonymized document. We will not indicate which consultants asked which questions to our RFP webpage, but we will also reply directly to your questions email. Proposals are due February 3rd. We will contact you with any clarifying questions that we have about your proposal if necessary. You will receive that again from the pura.rfp@ct.gov email. And we plan to select a consultant by March 1st. And both the selected consultant or consultants and any non-selected consultants will all be notified via email. And with that, we will gladly accept questions regarding the proposal process at this time.
Yeah, great. And that's just a reminder as well that happy to answer any questions, but limited to the RFP and the proposal process. So that, and if you could use the raise hand feature, which is in the reactions tab, we'll call on folks in the first order that we see hands.
Okay, I'm not seeing any. If anyone's having trouble finding the raise hand, if you want to quickly enter it into the chat for accommodating technological issues, we can give that a minute. I am not seeing any questions coming through. So again, if something does come up, you're welcome to submit them by next Friday. And we hope to receive notices of intents to bid from you all later today. So thank you for joining this morning. We appreciate your time and interest. Any final words, Director Ryer?
No, thank you all for attending.
Great. All right. Have a great rest of your